complete comedy network. I thought Polish TV was a comedy at some point, but I guess it just stands no chance against the Russian media. There's nothing like the Russian media. Nothing can even compete. It's impossible.
Добрый вечер. Конечно, мне хотелось бы начать.
Konieczna is like, of course. And it's very similar to the Polish word that means necessary, which always throws me off. I think konieczna has similar meaning to Ukrainian and Russian, which is, it always throws me off when I hear it, konieczna, because I hear necessary, and what people saying it mean is, of course. I would like to start by asking everyone to forgive me. I'm not forgiving you anytime soon, you hack. You propagandist hack. I'm not forgiving you. No way. You're getting no forgiveness from me for any hurt I might have caused willfully or unwitting. What? Is this a joke? He's gonna apologize for all of his propaganda and harmful rhetoric now? He's gonna get on his knees and forget and ask for forgiveness for threatening to nuke Europe and Poland in particular? No, I don't think that's the kind of apology that we're getting here now. I don't think that's what he's apologizing for, to be honest. As it often happens, many were writing me today, oh God, let me guess, he did some criticism of Russia's war or anything, and he got angry mail. As it often happens, many were writing and exchanging words like God will forgive. All of this happened. What the fuck is he talking about? What is he referencing? What did he do? What did he do that needs the forgiveness of the Russian people? Did he acknowledge that Russia's not doing as well in the war as it often said in the propaganda pieces? On the other hand, we live in amazing... Do we live in horrible... What the fuck? We live in horrible times. You should be apologizing for this statement. You should be apologizing for saying that we live in amazing times. If ever there was a thing that needs an apology, it's this. God, what the hell? When you very much want to forgive everyone. No, I'm never forgiving you. What does he want to apologize for? I sincerely don't think that he's going to apologize for any of his horrible propaganda. So what is it? And perhaps we're obligated to do that. To do what? Since we are religious people. Oh yes, the religion that calls for a genocide of several peoples, actually. I wanted to say a genocide of a people, but at this point, Russia's religion calls for the genocide of several people and nuking several countries, erasing them off the map, I guess. It's amazing that simultaneously with this, a totally different direction of life is happening. The Russian media always feels like a fever dream. It feels like some fever dream where people just say whatever comes to mind, especially the main propagandist. Solovyov says whatever comes to mind at a particular time. We should nuke here, we should nuke there, we should destroy here, we should destroy there. We're invincible. And the next time he just says, oh, the economy sucks and we're not doing as well as we should. And then ends by saying, therefore we should use nuclear weapons. Where you can observe insanity. I mean, you live in Russia. You've been observing insanity for years now. What do you mean? When it comes to Russia, that's not a thing that is limited to this particular time. Insanity in Russia has been an everyday occurrence for years now. That is actually recurring, self-evolving. Oh, I would not say that. That's not how I would put it, but that's probably not how I would put it. That is incapable of stopping and is racing into an abyss. You see, the world is currently on the verge. Oh yeah, I have to check. See that the world is currently on the verge of what? Of a terrible schism. Oh, yeah, because there's no schism right now. It's just on the verge. I'm sorry, like, you're a little bit slow to the news. The world is already schismed.
С одной стороны,
On one side, there are all these people
все те люди, которые верят
who believe in God, who have traditional values. Oh, God.
в Бога, традиционные ценности, понимание
And understanding that a man with his ego
всего,
is not at the center of it all. Yeah, that's why the godly country of Russia believes that it is actually at the center of it all, and that it has to subjugate all the neighbors around it and has to become one of the most globally important countries. Yet that is the country run by the godly people that certainly keep their ego in check. Russia is the most ego-checked country in the universe, okay? Russia definitely does not believe that it's in the center of it all.
эго. А нечто гораздо
But something that is a lot higher than man.
выше чего.
Oh my God. Yeah, Russia, that is Russia to a T, isn't it? A beautiful unity with God and hubris. Lack of hubris, I mean. Humbleness. Never-ending humbleness.
А рядом абсолютный сатанизм.
Nearby, there is total Satanism. Oh my God, I actually expected to hear that there is atheism, that there is evil atheism and lack of belief of God that causes people to kill and to be evil. But no, there's only a total belief in God. The world is only divided into total belief in God and total Satanism. I told you that Russian media feels like a fever dream.
При этом этот сатанизм,
Moreover, this is Satanism that keeps going back. What?
за разом возвращается к своим
To its
поискам.
plots, time and time again.
И стоит вот эту
This is the weirdest type of projection that I've ever heard.
хоть на секунду
If you set this evil free for just 1 second,
отпустить, как оно опять поднимает.
it rises up once again. Satanism has been the newest thing. Satanism has been here for a while. It has been the denazification. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm telling these things in chronological order, but it has been rescuing the Russian speakers in Donbass. That has been the primary thing that Russia has been talking about. We need to stop the genocide of the Russian speakers, of the Russian people in the Donbass region. Then it was the denazification of the entire country. Okay, that was the second, I believe, in order reason why Russia simply had to invade Ukraine. And then we had NATO, that there was a promise that Ukraine would not join NATO, and NATO was just fast-tracking Ukraine into joining it, which is complete nonsense, but that is something that Russia has been claiming. And then we have Satanism, the weirdest justification of them all, the weirdest explanation that Russia has given to the invasion of Ukraine and its never-ending battle against the West. The West is just satanic. Russia's satanic panic it's into war. It rises up once again.
Встает из каких-то
It comes up from the absolute depths of hell.
абсолютных глубин.
This is official Russian media talking about Satanism, about hell, about how entire countries just operate on a satanic mode to defeat Russia that is godly and good. This is real. This is not a parody thing. This is not a sketch. I think it's important to remember this is actual real news media channel
Ада, для того, чтобы попытаться
in order to try to drag humanity in once again.
человечество опять затянуть. Вот мне часто
My
друг
friend Alexander Viktorovich Sosnovsky often says, we will go to hell.
Александр Викторович Сосновский говорит,
This
прекрасно,
is such a Eastern European way to say, my friend, someone says, who cares what your friend says? Stop trying to scare them with nuclear threats
пугать. Я
and just nuke them. Just, what the fuck? I told you it always ends with the nukes. It always goes back to the nukes and the need to nuke everybody.
ядерной угрозой. Они над этим смеются,
They're laughing at this. They don't believe it.
они в это не верят. Ужас стоит в
The horror is that I am not trying to scare anyone.
том, что я никого не пугаю. Великий
The great Sergei Karaganov says,
Караганов говорит, остановитесь,
stop, come to your senses or else.
одумайтесь. Просто иначе, потому что мы не будем.
They look so deadpan. God, they look like the light has been taken away from their eyes. They look like they're just, I don't know, they're like zombies just standing there with that dead stare.
Вести
Because we won't be waging a conventional war.
конвенциальную войну.
I mean, you don't really wage a conventional war against Satan. God's Russia, God's strongest soldiers, I guess. Please, God help us all if these are the soldiers of God.
Есть фраза очень точная.
There is a phrase, or a supreme commander-in-chief. Is that what, Putin?
Наш верховный главнокомандующий. А зачем такой?
Who needs the world if Russia won't be in it? Yeah, because Russia is facing such an existential crisis right now. Of its own making, I might add. It'd be beautiful.
Мир, а то, что сейчас
I love how Russia just manufactures its own existential crisis and then use it as a justification to just invade everybody, to wage hybrid warfare on everybody, to just, I don't know, move us towards World War III, I guess. It's cool. It's cool, Russia. You're the godly country and everybody else is a bunch of Satanists just wants to plunge us into hell. With what they're currently formulating in the West,
формулируют на Западе,
they're sincerely certain that their goal is to destroy us. No, that is not the goal. If that was the goal, the aid that Ukraine would be receiving would have been completely different, okay? If the goal was to sincerely destroy Russia, then Ukraine would have been receiving completely different type of aid. Not since 2022, which we're actually doing an anniversary right now, but since 2014, okay? That would have been the case. I'm actually gonna change the title. Might as well change the title. Warrior. Grammar is not my strongest thing, okay? All right. Let us continue this.
но они же искренне уверены, что
Yeah, everybody wants to destroy Russia, and that is exactly why Russia has to destroy everybody else.
задача нас уничтожить. Притом они нас
At the same time, they don't listen to us.
не слышат. А вот у Иткофа
But Witkov has a completely different attitude. Yeah, I know. I know Witkov's attitude. I know all of your attitudes. You keep repeating it over and over and over and over again
совсем другое отношение
towards this negotiation process
и к переговорному процессу, в который
in
не
which Europeans do not believe. Yeah, it's Europeans that do not believe in the peace process. It's like nobody believes apart from Russia that just keeps rejecting all proposals. All sane proposals are being rejected by Russia time and time and time again. But you know what? It's the West that does not believe in the peace process, and Russia does by putting forward maximalist demands time and time again, of course,
не верят европейцу и к нашему руководителю.
and towards our leader.
Он всегда
He's never been anything other than straight with me.
был со мной честен, когда я это говорю.
Ah, yes. And I say that, and I get attacked.
Меня тут же
Witkov. Witkov
начинает-
is such an incompetent buffoon. I could have a whole rant about Witkov, how stupid he is, how he's just a real estate guy that just was plunged into international politics, into negotiation, which he has no clue about, that he is being manipulated, like almost like Trump, or maybe even more. That's just whatever.
Но это точно.
But that's an accurate statement. He has told me that this is what his red lines are. He's being just played. He's being played like a little puppet, like a suck puppet.
О своих красных линиях. Знаете, меня критиковали
I still remember when he went to negotiation, he either misunderstood or just was fed lies by the Russian Federation, came back with great news that Russia is willing to make such and such concessions, only for Russia to say, oh no, we never said that. We never said any of these things. And Witkov just ended up looking like an idiot that he is. Oh, whoops, I completely misunderstood what the Russian side said when I went to the negotiations into Russia without my own translators, depending on Russia's translators. Brilliant. Witkov is such a brilliant mind, such a brilliant negotiator. You know, I got attacked for going to meet him 8 times. Yeah, and nothing came of it. No, you got nothing done. Witkov met with Putin 8 times and he got nothing. Nothing got achieved. But then again, I believe that Trump has direct phone calls with Putin at least once per week. And he also got nothing done. Okay, the United States managed to get nothing done. We're no closer to peace than we were before. And it's been over a year since Trump has been elected president. And he said that he would end this war in 24 hours. We are living in horrible times. Okay, and things have been far worse for Ukraine ever since Trump has taken office. Hello, Inkub. Ukraine has been bombed more civilians have died. This has been one of the, if not the worst winter for Ukraine. No heating, no electricity, as demonstrated. Okay, I streamed this in darkness because there's a blackout. Brilliant.
За то, что я встречался с ним 8 раз.
How would you make a deal with someone
Но как можно заключать сделку
on
с
the other side unless you knew
человеком, не зная его позиции?
where the other person was coming from? What is it? What happened in Kub?
Мне нужно
Yeah, but the problem is that Vladimir Putin will never sincerely tell you where he's coming from. He will never get sincerity from Putin. Oh, I don't know. Any software can be crashed, so that does not surprise me. Like, brilliant. It's the most naive thing that you can expect is for Putin to just tell you where he's coming from, honestly, without lying.
понять его
Yeah, maybe 8K is too much.
мотивы, цели.
I needed to understand what his motivations were. Yeah, he's never gonna give you his sincere motivations. Are you stupid? Like, what kind? Fuck me. No wonder we are no closer to peace. If we have the main person that is supposed to negotiate with Putin and he says, oh yeah, I totally believe that Putin's just gonna give me his motivations. He's gonna give me them straight up without any lies or manipulation. Of course, it's Vladimir Putin we're talking about, the ex-KGB guy. Of course he's gonna be candid with me,
И так далее. И я действительно
his goals and so forth. And I actually think that a lot of those meetings
встреч сейчас становится очень важным.
now are becoming very relevant. Yeah, then why are we no closer to peace over 1 year into Trump's presidency? Why are we getting no closer to peace if those conversations are becoming relevant? Relevant to what? Relevant for whom? Certainly not for Ukraine. Oh, electricity is back.
Понимаем их позицию.
We understand where the Russians,
И я не думаю, что украинцы не
and I don't think the Ukrainians disagree with us. Yes, they do. Okay? The Ukrainians have said many times, like, this is very interesting. I keep watching interviews with various Ukrainians on the various media when they say, yeah, these negotiations are not going anywhere. Nothing's going achieved. The West is believing Russian lies. Nothing really is. We are no closer to peace. We don't believe a word that Russia is saying. And that is also the attitude that have been reflected in my interviews. Whenever I ask people about the peace process, whenever I ask people what they think of how the latest negotiation went, I just hear, well, it's not going anywhere. I don't believe in this negotiation. I don't believe it will lead to anywhere. And Russia just lies. So yeah, I do believe that the Ukrainians disagree with you, Witkov. Sincerely disagree. It's ridiculous.
не согласны с нашими оценками.
And I don't, in our assessment, yeah, they do. They do disagree with you. Trust me, I talk to Ukrainian people and they disagree with you sincerely.
Поэтому я считаю, что эти встречи были важны.
So I think those meetings were important.
И я надеюсь,
No, they were not. They were a waste of time. You did not achieve anything during those meetings. The only thing that you have achieved is more time for Russia. Russia was able to very effectively buy time during those meetings. And it continues to do so. It continues to stall. Which is why Zelensky has lost patience for this. Which is why Zelensky has just, I believe, walked out of a few meetings now saying, yeah, this is just stalling. And hopefully we're going to consummate
Дело до
our marriage.
конца.
The whole thing, whatever that means, consummate the marriage.
И получается,
Turns out that only Europe needs war. Yeah, because Europe started the war, right? It was not Russia that invaded Ukraine. No, it was Europe that invaded itself.
что война нужна,
I love this rhetoric of unless you give Russia everything that it wants, unless you open Ukraine to being invaded in the future, unless you leave Ukraine defenseless and with less territory, then you just want war, okay? The only way you don't want war is to give Russia every single thing that it wants, every single demand that Russia puts forward. Unless you agree to it, then you're just a warmonger. That is the reality of the situation. Russia should get territory, Russia should get the control of the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, Russia should get a demilitarized Ukraine, a neutral Ukraine, so under Russian control, and also preferably NATO troops should retreat from neighboring countries like Poland. Otherwise, you're just a warmonger. You're a Satanist country.
только Европа, Америка.
America doesn't want this war. Yeah, because it wants business with Russia. Current America under Trump also does not want a rules-based order around the world. Current America under Trump does not believe in international law. And of course, current America believes that border agents can just murder citizens. So
Не хочет этой войны. Америка Трампа.
Trump's America, not America of the Democrats. There you go. If there was ever an endorsement of the Democratic Party, it's that Russia hates it and loves Trump's America.
Не Америка демократов, Америка Трампа
Trump's America does not want this war.
не хочет этой войны. Но Америка
Trump's America doesn't want this Europe either. Yeah, Trump's America wants a divided, weak Europe. Trump's America wants a Europe without the European Union when you can just deal with each nation state of Europe. A very weak individually country, I might add.
Трампа не хочет и этой Европы. Сколько ж поколений
How many generations of German politicians
немецких политиков жаждут
have been craving the possibility of a rematch? None of them. If Germany wanted a rematch so badly, then they would have been moving towards it a long time ago. Germany was one of those countries that really obstinated the most from giving Ukraine long-range missiles. Why would they not give Ukraine the missiles that it needed if they wanted a rematch? If Germany was so hungry for a rematch, then they would not hide behind excuses not to provide Ukraine with needed support. Oh, if we send these missiles to Ukraine, then we need to send experts. Oh, and if we send experts, then there's a possibility it will be dragged into war. Germany would be just itching to get back at Russia by giving Ukraine all the long-range missiles and weakening Russia. This is stupid. So no politicians have been itching for a rematch. This is all a delusional Russia propaganda fantasy for Russians.
реванша. Я понимаю,
Do they realize that in this war,
ли они, что в этой войне
which Russia has started, by the way, I will have to repeat this because we're having an anniversary right now. Okay, on the 24th of, it is technically speaking the 25th right now, and it is already the 25th, but in many countries it's still the 24th. On the 24th, Russia has attacked Ukraine, okay? Europe has not invaded Russia. The West has not invaded Russia. Russia started this war. Russia wants this war more than anybody else. German people, just like many other European people,
немецкий народ, как и многие другие народы Европы,
not only won't end up victorious,
не выйдет победителем, но и не факт,
but may not even remain part of history. Oh yes, Russia will erase everybody, as it has throughout history.
потом останется в
Russia has already erased Germany so many times.
истории.
I'm sorry, Solovyov, but it's your favorite country that stopped existing, if memory serves. Your favorite country has been the Soviet Union. You said that you miss the Soviet Union. That was the best thing ever. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. The only country that stopped being part of history is your own Soviet Union, because nuclear war and nuclear weapons. Yeah, he always defaults to nuclear war. That's the only thing that he has left. That's the only refuge that he has left. Saber rattling about nuclear warfare. Saber rattling about using nuclear weapons, which no country will allow Russia to do. Again, the last time that Russia has been seriously threatening to use nuclear weapons, China stepped in and said no. And Russia backed off because Russia is extremely dependent on China support. I am gonna go as far as to say that Russia would probably be nothing without Chinese support. That is the blunt reality of the situation.
Потому что ядерная война,
Can't act in a selective manner.
ядерное оружие неизбирательного действия.
They look like the light has completely left their eyes. Vladimir Rudolfovich, you made a very important clarification. On what? You have not made any important clarifications.
Америка Трампа.
Trump's, oh yeah, that clarification. Oh my God. Yeah, America's on your side now. Yeah, we all get it, okay? We all understand that Trump's America is on your side. Your ally, basically. We all get that.
Потому что если посмотреть на другую Америку,
Because if you look at the other America, the Democrat America, which isn't smaller than Trump's America,
меньше, чем Америка Трампа, она не
it isn't bigger than Trump's America,
больше, чем Америка Трампа, но и не меньше.
but it also isn't smaller.
И она
It occupies a significant part of the expert platforms.
лидировала значительную
What expert platform? What is he talking about? The media?
часть экспертных площадок
And media outlets. Okay. He does mean the media.
и средств массовой информации. Так вот, в
In this America, an alternative to Trump's America,
альтернативной Трампу Америку нас ведь тоже нет.
we aren't present either.
Нам нужно
We
будет
will have to write ourselves in.
вписывать себя самим. Никто
No one will write us into a construct
за нас в конструкцию
of European security
европейской и вообще евроатлантической
and Euro-Atlantic security as a whole.
безопасности нас не впишут. Только мы и
Only we can do it, and only with our bayonets.
тыками.
By the way, Nikolai Patrushev said that we also have
Сказал, что у нас тоже, кстати, есть возможность
an ability to stop, search, and hold the ships
останавливать, досматривать, задерживать
sailing under the flag of EU countries. What?
корабли, идущие под
No, you don't.
флагом стран Евросоюза. Поэтому
This shouldn't be underestimated. How would you have that ability exactly?
недооценивать, да, у нас есть пока что,
Yes, but unfortunately for now,
к сожалению, Патрушев об этом не говорил,
Patrushev didn't mention this, but I will know
но я вам, так сказать, могу отметить, что, к сожалению, при всей
that unfortunately, despite the speed of modernization, the speed of modernization has been somewhat hampered by the sanctions. That is an undeniable fact. Russia has been actually suffering from a shortage of armed vehicles because of this, because it has been in trouble. It has been having trouble rebuilding, in part due to the sanctions
при всех темпах модернизации, строительства наших
of the construction of our battleships, which has been sunk in the Black Sea. Although it's a little bit more complicated than it's generally presented. When it comes to naval warfare, Russia has not been faring very well. Although some of it can be attributed to the specificity of the Black Sea itself.
боевых кораблей, мы еще не можем
You can't compete with NATO's collective fleet. Yeah, you cannot. No shit.
соперничать с Объединенным флотом НАТО во главе
That is headed by the United
с
States
Соединенными Штатами в Мировом океане.
in the world's oceans. You cannot compete on land, in the air, or in the sea when it comes to the united might of NATO. No.
к сожалению.
unfortunately. But we can do it locally.
Можем, но
А что мешает?
What present? Yeah, that is so pathetic that Russia claims to be a global power but retreats to doing things locally. What prevents us from using our marvelous reserves? Marvelous reserves. What prevents you from using your marvelous reserves is that your marvelous reserves are not endless. Okay? You don't have endless marvelous reserves. That is the main thing that is keeping you in check.
Использовать наши
Our marvelous reserves. Goddamn.
великолепный резерв.
I'm talking about the yachts of our oligarchs. That's your wonderful reserves? The yachts of your... What? That's your marvelous reserves? That is so pathetic.
имею в виду яхты наших олигархов,
No way this is what he meant. No fucking way.
которые сейчас прячутся в портам.
There are currently
Забрать олигархов, которые сейчас
They are currently hiding in various ports. No fucking way this is your glorious reserve. Okay, wow. There's just no way.
прячутся в портам.
We can seize them and arm them.
Забрать их, довооружить и
Use them as launch pads for the newest types of weapons.
как платформу.
Use them as launch pads for the new types of weapons. Holy shit, that is what he meant. He actually meant private yachts. This is the reserve. This is a global power, okay? This is the country that wants to be one of the pillars of a multipolar world order. Ah, yes, we have our reserves of yachts, of private oligarchs, which we can use to launch weapons from. That sounds so pathetic. Imagine if the United States said something like that. Oh, yeah, some of our billionaires have yachts, you see, and we can use those yachts to launch missiles from. Wouldn't that sound pathetic if the United States said something like that? But come on, admit it. That would have sounded so pathetic. You would have been laughing at Russia. Okay, we're laughing at Russia, but you would have been laughing if the United States said something like that. Aren't a lot of them confiscated anyway? They are. But he just said something of about a glorious reserve of yachts that are just hidden Russian yachts.
Для новых видов оружия, беспилотных
All sorts of unmanned systems.
систем. Я уверен,
I'm sure that all those who are cowardly sitting
что все эти, которые сейчас
and are being silent right now
расселись и молчат,
will be glad to donate their yachts. What the fuck? This just witness the might of our private yachts? What is happening? Tremble, world, before the might of our private yachts, which can be used as launch pads for things. What?
своя яхта.
For this kind of good cause. Does he really think that this sounds good? This sounds so pathetic. Hello, Greater Ain't. This sounds so pathetic. God damn, this is genuinely the most pathetic thing that I've ever heard. And this person is supposed to be Russia's hype man. Okay, he's supposed to be showing Russia in a hyped up light. In this glorified light. Now this guy looks amused.
Благого дела. Притом заметьте, как еще не так
Know that not so long ago, the number of oligarchs
олигархов, которые
who were teaching Russians how to live
поучали россиян жить, было зашкаливающим.
was off the charts.
Как-то куда-то все
All of them have vanished somehow. They're so humble.
делись. Скромняшки.
The oligarchy is eating itself, I guess. More than that, let's look at what we are planning.
Давайте посмотрим. Мы, значит, что планируем? То есть мы себя
We are again turning ourselves into a country that is
превращаем опять
backwater, a shithole, weak, backwards,
в страну поставщик,
a supplier of certain commodities on the global market.
поставщика довольно нового вида продукции на мировой рынок.
What is it? What is in it for us? Well, you can continue your shitty war, I guess. That's the main thing that you're getting from this, from selling your resources for cheap. You can continue your shitty war.
И дальше звучала тема, а давайте его для иностранных
For the sake of foreign investments. Sorry, what did he say here? Then a topic was raised and a conclusion was
И
made
дальше звучала тема, а давайте вот для инвестиций,
for the sake of foreign, since there are no monetary resources domestically.
что денежные.
Почему?
Why?
Нет денег, а что, вы
We have no money.
не читаете прессу, не читаете
Don't you read the press
выступления
я вообще
денег
их
нет.
and the statements of the mega regulator?
не читаю.
Значит, денег
No, I don't read them at all.
нет, а вот там, а у государства
We have no money. Oops. Russia is a bankrupt state. Russia is a failed state. Whoops.
там
But countries of the global south have money.
юга большого, а там деньги есть. Вот они придут к нам и
They will come to us and help us. Will they? Will they though? Why will they come? Because of the riches.
богатство и вообще развитие любой страны
The development of any country
определяется двумя факторами.
is determined by two factors, resources and competence.
Ресурсами и компетенцией.
Then why is Russia so backwards? Oh yeah, because it lacks competence. Okay. That tracks. Okay. That makes sense. Russia has the resources, but it lacks the competence. It makes perfect sense.
Слушайте, они что,
Listen, will they bring us the resources?
принесут нам ресурсы?
We have our own resources. Yeah, but you don't have competence. Oh God, I hope you'll say that next, that Russia lacks the competence.
Ресурсы у нас есть.
Will they bring us competence?
Компетенции.
Я, наверное,
There you go. He just indirectly said that Russia lacks competence. Thank you. It's true, but it's nice. It's refreshing to hear. I'm not very smart. I'm super smart.
не 7 пядей во лбу, 17. Но вопрос у меня
But I have a simple question.
простой. А почему у них деньги есть, а у нас нет?
Why do they have money but we don't? Because your leader decided to start a war that has led to a shitty situation in your economy. That's why. Because you decided to invade Ukraine in 2022, which resulted in sanctions and the crippling of your economy. That is why you don't have money. Trust me, you would have had a lot more money if you did not start the war. What the fuck is this? What the fuck was that reaction to the question? Oh my god.
Сегодня живем в ситуации,
Again, this is the media that is supposed to be hyping Russia up. Okay, this is the we are witnessing Russia being hyped up. Okay, right now. Why don't we have money? Awkward laughter ensues.
А почему у них деньги есть,
Why do they have money but we
а у
don't?
нас нет?
That reaction tells me everything. God damn. And they're the ones that are like, yeah, Russia's so great. Russia's so glorious. Russia's so amazing. And oh God, this feels like a sketch, a comedy club. Look at their facial expressions. We are currently living in a situation of our own making, by the way, where the West, these people you've been showing. Sorry, this is just amazing. Hold on. I have to go back. This is just... There's this guy. Oh, this is my favorite guy.
продукция на мировой рынок. Что? А что в этом? Инвестиций? Да, и, кстати, был сделан вывод, что...
This guy is my favorite guy.
Значит, денег нет, а вот там юга большого, а там деньги есть.
Hold on. Let's return to where we were. Yeah.
Богатство и вообще... Слушайте, они что...
Не 7.
Sorry about that.
Но вопрос у меня простой. Деньги есть, а у нас нет.
Но мы же сегодня живем в ситуации, при которой Запад
Where the West, those people who have been showing,
показали, но их убеждать бесполезно
it's pointless to try to persuade these
на
elites.
эту элиту. Ей можно противопоставить только
It can be opposed solely by a strong Russia. Well, then I guess you're doomed because Russia is not that strong, is it?
сильную Россию. Они боятся
They already fear everything on their own.
всего сами. Они, если бы они
If they were strong and brave,
были сильные и смелые, они бы уже давно пошли.
they would have come against our country with weapons in their hands a long time ago. I mean, that's true. That is true. The West is afraid of nuclear escalation. That is certainly true.
С оружием в руках на нашу страну. Они чужими руками это делают. Почему? Да они слабы.
They're doing it through others because they're weak.
Как в одном фильме, там, жалкие,
Like in that movie.
ничтожные люди. Но
They are
они
pathetic, miserable
все
people.
равно понимают только силу, в том числе и
God,
экономическую.
I'm actually tempted to agree. Including economic strength. So let's create it. No, that part's bullshit, okay? The Russian economy is dwarfed by the united economy of Europe alone. Okay, just the European Union alone dwarfs Russia when it comes to economy. When you combine the United States with it, yeah, I'm sorry, there's no contest to be had. Especially the current Russian economy.
Так давайте ее создавать. И для этого у нас есть абсолютно все ресурсы
We have absolutely all the resources for it
внутри страны.
within our country. So there is no money.
Реклама.
Commercial break. Holy shit, that was what an ending. What an ending to this horrible cope session. Oh, so we have no money. We're a bankrupt state. Commercial. Cut to commercial.